Did you know that way before Facebook rebranded into Meta, they already released a free software for you to easily create virtual assets for metaverses, augmented reality, and virtual reality, and even to make money?
I like money!
And if that's not necessarily your cup of tea, don't worry, because I'm also going to cover additional ways that you can profit from or even invest in the metaverse trend. Before we start though, a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, which is not Facebook, but rather my own YouTube courses designed to help you turn your favorite hobbies into a profitable side hustle via YouTube. And there are actually two versions to this, a completely free version that I'm still updating and is on my own website, and also a premium version for which you can also watch 2 completely free video lessons, plus I'll include a coupon code for it that'll be expiring very soon, and all of this will be in the description box below. So starting off with the first method, we have this free software from Facebook called Spark AR, and it's actually used for, as you can see, creating all sorts of things like AR filters for say Instagram, or different types of sort of AR or virtual reality assets like graphics or even games, or things like filters for, again, Instagram, and basically a ton of different types of digital art, including NFTs, by the way, which you can actually even create 3D NFTs or even game NFTs and sell them on places like OpenSea. And one of the really cool things about Spark AR is that, again, not only is it free, but it's also extremely beginner friendly and somewhat difficult to master, in that there's actually a lot that you can do with it, even though it is still easy to start with, especially with all the templates that they give you and all the lessons that they provide for free as well. So for example, if I actually go over to this page here called the Spark AR Hub, this is where you can actually find lots of, for example, these templates depending on the type of effect or filter or graphic that you want to create. So you have things like 3D animated posters. This is a template that you can just use and tweak, like AR or augmented reality or virtual reality objects like these, and even camera filters, accessories, sort of AR accessories and things like that you can just plug into or just start using in your software, and then just tweak it however you want, right? So this is a great way to get started. Also, if you go over to the Learn tab at the top here, you can access a bunch of their not only free articles on the left, but also tutorials for using their free software, Spark AR, as well as the AR library, which includes lots of different types of assets as well, right? Such as 3D shapes, even music, ambient sounds and sound effects, etc., for you to create your sort of 3D experience or world or game or piece of art, for example. And by the way, as you can see here, 3D objects are generally licensed, or rather all are licensed under the Creative Commons 4.0 license, which, if we just take a look at it, it means that you are free to share, which means copying and redistributing this material in any medium or format. And also, as long as you sort of adapt it, for example, if you combine the assets into your own piece of work or artwork, you can actually, not only are you allowed to do that, but you can even use it for commercial purposes, right? Which means you can in fact sell them. So again, you can actually use this free software to create things like NFTs and mint them on places like OpenSea, or for different things, right? Such as, another way that you can do this, especially with more companies and individuals getting into the metaverse trend and needing this type of services, or specifically needing designers to create these types of assets for them, you can actually sell, as long as you learn Spark AR, for example, you can actually learn the skill and actually sell this skill itself. So in essence, you don't really have to sell the assets themselves, because you'll just be doing the designing process for these people, and these people will just own their own assets from beginning to end, so you don't have to worry about copyright anyway. But essentially, you can actually just help people, design stuff for them, such as Instagram filters, AR filters. In the future, it won't just be Instagram, right? Especially when we get more metaverse or meta platform adoption, not only on Facebook, but from likely different platforms as well, as we'll probably soon see, especially with NFT technology playing a big part in all of this, right? Allowing people to own sort of digital assets, in the virtual world or metaverses, right? So as you can see, if I just search up something like AR on Fiverr, which is one of the most popular freelancing websites, of which there are other ones as well, like Upwork, you can also check out for perhaps higher level employment. In that, what I mean is, it's more like formal, I guess, if you go through Upwork, and the work is sometimes better. But anyway, Fiverr is a great way to get started as a freelancer, because you can list a bunch of gigs on it even if you have no experience, and start to get exposure from it, and also build up your own experience, build up reviews and things like that, right? And then even begin to charge more as you build up your reviews. But anyhow, if I just type in AR, you'll see that some people are actually charging quite a bit for something that's relatively simple to do, as I'll show you in just a bit. Designing these AR assets, as well as if I just go over to 3D NFT, this is another type of completely different keyword, and yet it involves, you know, the same software or similar softwares, and some of the other methods and softwares I'll actually show you later, and those are free as well, and albeit a little bit more advanced. But anyway, if you just do something like 3D NFT, or if you type in, I'm sure if you type in metaverse, you can even start establishing yourself as a freelancer in this space very early on, right? To sort of get your foot in the door and also start building up your reputation before other people start flooding into the niche and, you know, start selling their own services. So as you can see, this stuff is really getting in demand right now. So in my opinion, it's a great way to start, you know, getting involved if you're, you know, if you have a knack for designing stuff. And even if you're not, there's some other ways to potentially get involved as well, which I'll get into. But besides this, you can also consider selling some of your stuff, right? For example, if you go on to Gumroad, is a popular website for selling especially digital products. So here you can it even has an article that says you can sell Spark AR filters. And if I go to the marketplace, you can also see people selling these different types of Spark AR designed, not only filters, but also things like games and other things as well. Plus, you can again sell assets as NFTs on platforms such as OpenSea, which, by the way, I have a tutorial on how you can create a MetaMask account to be able to access OpenSea and how to actually buy and sell you know, NFTs on the platform, which I will link down below. But as you can see on this platform, which by the way is one of the most, if not the most popular platform for NFTs or for trading NFTs, you'll see that there are not only these like, you know, 2D artwork, which you'll use different types of software to do, obviously, but there also are 3D ones, right? And also animated ones at that.
It'll be easy as 1, 2.
And with that, just to show you really quick how Spark AR actually works, which again, you can just download for free from Facebook, just by, well, Googling Spark AR. You actually can just start with these templates that they give you. So this is actually the first thing that shows up after I log in with my Facebook account, which you do need to have. But I can actually just click on create effect right here to start with this, for example, butterfly effect, or this wings effect AR filter, right? And as you can see on the right here, it shows how the effect displays on somebody's, say, Instagram or other type of filter or other type of, well, AR filter. And if I just keep on clicking next, it'll show you the different settings and also the different tools on this platform, right? So it's actually quite intuitive to use. On the right side, you'll be doing a lot of your tweaking the settings of each asset, such as, you know, the positioning, the let's see, the texture, the hue, transparency, and probably color as well, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, it's actually quite intuitive. Plus, they do have a lot of their free tutorials right on their website, right? And not only that, but you can also, okay, this is how to publish. This is sort of the walkthrough that they've gone through. You can read through this, definitely read through this more in depth or more slowly. This is more of a demo for this video, right? But when you're doing it, obviously read through it a lot more thoroughly. Next, if we go over to their homepage, if you first of all click on create new, you can either start with at the top here, blank project, which will usually be more suitable for things like artwork, or you can go with like a sharing experience, which is better for social media like Instagram and Facebook as well. And then you also have like video calling experience, AR type filters and things like that. But more importantly, perhaps below, you can also start with any of these templates that they already have set up. And again, all of them are quite intuitive to use. And a lot of times you just have to tweak some of the graphics that they already applied to any of these filters. For example, for the hat or head decoration one, you can just tweak how the headpiece looks instead of having to configure everything from scratch, right? Because that's already sort of been done for you, as in the headpiece has already been sort of attached to the person's face, right? Or that the project has already known to do that. Otherwise, you can also go with things like virtual artwork, right? Like at the bottom here, we have real scale world object, very, very cool. 3D stickers, 2D stickers, which is, you know, sort of floating in space as well, or like in virtual reality as well. And there's just a ton of things that you can do. Besides that, you can also click on the Learn tab to straight up start with different tutorials and just have them sort of hold your hand through different things that you might want to do, right? So if I actually click on that, it'll actually take me over to their website here, as you can see. So this is after I clicked on Learn on the software, right? Here I'm back on the website, which I can actually just browse through and just look at specific things I may want to do, right? For example, if I want to do particle effects, I can just look at this very easy or this beginner tutorial right here. I can add lighting effects, I can add audio if I want to, etc, etc. They have very specific tutorials for specific things that you might want to do. So if you just go through some of these simple tutorials, you should be able to master the platform, in a relatively short amount of time. Not to mention, it's a lot of hand-holding that they do for you anyway. So even if you don't necessarily like memorize everything, you can just follow through the tutorials and be able to come up with or produce whatever you want to create just by following their steps. And now for some other ways that you can potentially profit from the metaverse, you can actually use another free software, by the way, called Unity, which also has its own free lessons called Unity Learn, which has these like really cool looking checkpoints with like experience points similar to like what you would have in like a video game. So they've really sort of gamified it because Unity is also a platform for creating a lot of these virtual world type projects as well as games, right? In fact, it's actually a professional tool, which is actually, I believe, quite intuitive as well, but it does have a lot that you can learn. But anyway, it is a professional tool that is also very popular that people actually use to create video games, and very advanced video games at that, if you actually get to that skill level. And by the way, Unity itself is also a publicly traded company, and it's actually doing very well as a company. It's going really well, and it's definitely going to play a big part in the metaverse and virtual realities and gaming in the future, right? So this is yet another way that you can develop skills for free, right? Using free software as well, and just sort of set yourself up for success with this new sort of niche and trend, right, moving forward. And you can even do game design as well, right, if that's more of your thing. And besides Unity, there's also so here is one of the, well, again, this is one of the Unity courses that you can start. But anyway, moving on, besides Unity, Nvidia is another. You probably have heard the name from graphics cards, or they actually sell these their own like graphics cards, right? They're the largest seller or producer of them. But anyway, Nvidia has also recently, or they announced much earlier, they have this Omniverse platform, and I believe yesterday or today they actually allow people to start downloading this Nvidia Omniverse, or maybe earlier, I'm not really sure. But anyway, you can download their open beta Omniverse software as well, which should be free, that you can also learn to use to create sort of metaverse type assets and projects. And these are usually more for like professional use, not just like for gaming, which Nvidia has already been very much involved with. But besides doing gaming stuff or artwork, you can also develop and create projects for more marketing purposes, for example, or different types of practical or even experimental purposes, right? If you actually start to learn their Omniverse apps. And of all the Nvidia softwares, Omniverse Create is probably the most general and beginner friendly and the most multi-purpose app to get started with. And you can just go ahead and access it by clicking on the link here, or you can also just Google it and just download Omniverse Create to get started. You'll be able to find tons of tutorials, I'm sure, online as well, not only just on Nvidia's own website, but as you can see, it's a it might be a bit more advanced than the other two softwares I've shared so far, but it can definitely be one of the most powerful ones and most lucrative ones to learn, or profitable ones to learn, if you decide to sort of take a leap and learn to use it. Anyhow, moving on, another one that is actually a ton more beginner friendly, and I actually covered this in another video, and I'll link that tutorial down below, and it's for the game maker for Sandbox. And well, actually the Sandbox has two different free software that you can use. They're super duper intuitive, very easy for beginners even to use, and essentially you can use their game maker to create sort of Minecraft like games for use in their own Sandbox metaverse, which is actually a legit high profile metaverse right now, in that a lot of not only big companies have invested in it, but they have also purchased virtual land within the metaverse, and celebrities have done so as well. If I just go over to the home page, we've got like Snoop Dogg, and also even TV show franchises like The Walking Dead, Hell's Kitchen, The Smurfs, and also Deadmau5 the DJ. So this is quite a high profile project, and it's actually sort of compatible rather with Minecraft, which is obviously a very popular game. As you can see, the characters in the Sandbox looks for like Minecraft, and also the buildings and stuff as well. In fact, if you design stuff on Minecraft, you can actually import them onto the Sandbox as well. And also this is very much involved with NFTs, any of the assets you can sell on the marketplace, which includes not only their own marketplace, the Sandbox marketplace, but also the OpenSea marketplace. You can actually sell assets on there. You can actually use the game maker to not only make games where you can have these assets interact. You can eventually likely monetize the games that you make, perhaps sell them when their ecosystem gets more robust in the future. But actually, again, you can check out the tutorial for creating games down below, and I have yet another tutorial for their other free software, which is also very easy to use, called VoxEdit, where you can actually create specifically 3D artwork or NFTs that you can sell on their marketplace directly through the software, or actually link you to their website. Or you can also sell them on OpenSea as well, right? And you can actually put whatever you design from VoxEdit into Game Maker to flesh out your own game as well. So there's a lot of things you can do with this, and you can even offer services on freelancing websites like Fiverr as well, right? So there's just a ton of things that you can do with it to potentially make money. Well, even on top of that, Sandbox, the Sandbox company, they've actually been offering perks for creators, sort of like a creator fund. Think like, for example, on YouTube, they have like creator funds and like YouTube Shorts creator funds, where if you put out quality content, they're actually giving out bonuses and incentives, rewards essentially for people who are creators for their platform, right? So anyway, I'll link up both of these tutorials in the description box below for your perusal and for your learning and viewing pleasure. And lastly, if you're too busy or not perhaps as hands-on with some of these softwares, that's completely fine, because there's another way that you can potentially make money with by investing into the metaverse and this upcoming trend. For example, by buying NFTs, right, or investing in NFTs, which, well, in large part is a lot of speculation, but in my opinion, there are some, if you actually pick especially things like strong franchises, well-known franchises, well-known artists, there could be some potential here, as long as you're, again, not spending too much money, or like spending money that you can't you can't really spare, right? Definitely only go into this with money that you can sort of potentially lose in case some of these NFTs do lose value. Speaking of which, websites like Maker's Place can be a great way to find sort of curated, actual artist design NFTs, as opposed to OpenSea, which is more like a Wild West where there's a lot of clutter, which doesn't mean there aren't any good projects on there as well. But know that there is sort of like a lot of speculation and hype behind the space right now, as well as another thing that you can potentially invest in is cryptocurrencies, which are somewhat speculative as well. But there are in fact coins, cryptocurrency tokens rather, that are involved or heavily involved in transacting in certain metaverse ecosystems, such as the engine token, which is used to help people monetize, or help developers, game developers specifically, monetize their games with blockchain technology and NFTs and things like that, to be able to incorporate these things into their games. Engine is a platform for doing that, and engine token is what sort of powers that platform. So this is one potential coin that people have been investing in anticipation of this trend, and you'll see that the price has actually run up almost like 100% or more over the past month, because of, in large part, actually it actually spiked after Facebook announced its rebranding as well into Meta. A lot of these metaverse related coins actually spiked up a lot, so they are sort of on the more expensive side, relatively speaking, to before. So definitely, if you're going to invest at your own risk, right? And I personally haven't bought any of these coins just yet, but if there's any sort of price drop in the future, or if I just have a bit of extra money to spare, and aside from all my other stable investments, I might consider some of these. Alright, anyway, Engine token is one of them. Another one is, if I just go to Coinbase, we have the Sandbox NFT, or not NFT, the Sandbox crypto, or Sand token, which is exactly what what this platform that I showed you earlier, the Sandbox, mainly uses, right? So this is also traded in certain exchanges that you can invest in. And the last one is Decentraland, or not the last one, but another major one rather is Decentraland. It's got a huge market cap at $4.9 billion, and Decentraland has also run up a lot lately. And this mana token that you can potentially buy, and you can even buy them on Coinbase. Anyway, mana token is also used in another metaverse or virtual reality called Decentraland, which you can actually access right now, whereas the Sandbox is still sort of in beta. You can't really play the games just yet, but Decentraland you can just search it up. You can actually jump into the game right away and just interact in that virtual reality NFT game, right? In fact, I was able to join some events that were hosted on it before, right, with like celebrities and stuff, which is really interesting. But anyway, this is the last coin I wanted to go through. Again, invest at your own risk. And with that, that is pretty much all I want to cover in today's video. Again, let me know which methods you'd like to try out. Again, you can check out my YouTube courses, one free version and a premium version, as well as the coupon code in the description box below. And with that, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smash the like button, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.